ई का कर रहे हो?
पोप।
पोप? ई
यूट्यूब
का
से
होता
देख
है?
के सीख रहा हूँ पोपिंग।
छे, ई का होता है। और यूट्यूब से कौन सीखता है?
यूट्यूब से सीख के हम ग्रैमी जाएंगे परफॉर्म करने।
इतना आसान होता है का ग्रामी जाना?
अरे है एक इंसान।
कौन है, हमें भी मिलाओ जरा।
चलो बिठाते हैं बैठक।
चलो बिठाते हैं। Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of Baithak. Today we have with us Samant Vinil. He is a versatile and an interesting person who was alumni of our institute, and he, by breaking all the norms the institute has followed, went on to pursue his career as an artist and performed at one of the largest theatrical company in the world, that is Cirque du Soleil. He is currently an independent artist and he works on music, dance and filmmaking. So yeah, it is an interesting conversation to watch, and yeah, let's start.
So let us start from the very beginning of your
Mhm.
insti life, the institute life, IIT Bombay. So
Okay.
how were you back then,
Mhm.
and how did you start dancing? Like, what was that spark?
Okay. So I would say the first year, pretty much like I came into the Insta with a very ambitious of like everyone else. Like I wanted to do research in physics. Like I chose engineering physics. So and I had passion for physics at that time. And yeah, the first semester pretty much went into like studying and getting good grades in the courses. I got 8 plus or something the first semester,
Mm.
and then it gradually dropped. The interest gradually dropped, and this I think the second semester itself I started to realize that there is something wrong. This is not what I imagined it to be. And third and fourth semesters I was completely lost. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't see any direction with my engineering or whatever I was doing at with my degree. And and during that time there was this gyrations happening, which is
Mm.
the interhostel
Yeah.
dance GC. And my seniors in hostel 5 like forced me to participate, and I couldn't say no. They literally were like, chal tu chal tu kar. I'm like, okay, I couldn't say no. So I went and I did it. So I had one part where I did just one move, which was just me and no one else. So
Mm.
there were a couple of cheers from the audience that I got because of that. uh, and since then there was a slight interest in dancing and performing on stage, that it felt very special that moment. So since then I started watching dance videos and stuff. And then I researched uh, during that time I started watching Dance India Dance.
Yeah.
That was the time when Dance India Dance started, when Dharmesh,
Yes.
Siddesh,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all these
Yes.
people,
Yes. Yes.
Prince,
Yes.
which was
Yeah.
going on. And that's when I started uh, uh, understanding the styles, and I wanted to research what is this. They keep talking about popping and locking. I was like, let me do some research about what this is, where this came from. And that's when I searched popping first, and I saw this video of Mr. Wiggles, who is one of the hip hop legends. And that just blew my mind. Like that one video, I would say the first video of him that I watched, that is like the turning point of mine. That completely changed the course of my life. That one
Yeah.
video, I still remember the feeling of watching that video. And I didn't know why, but I just wanted to do exactly what he was doing. And then I would just say things just happened from there. Like I just kept taking actions unknowingly. There was a strong force which led me into just practicing. And within 1 year, the next gyration, I
Yeah.
did this solo which went viral, like
Oh,
in the whole insta. and then other colleges also in Mumbai, and people were sharing my video. And since then, like, people started noticing me. So that was again one of the second turning points. This 1 year went into practice, and the next direction is I went viral in the institute.
So like that was the time you became Sam Boy the Popper. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So you got an offer to perform in Cirque du Soleil during your MTech, right? The time you were doing your MTech, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was doing my dual degree. So it was
Hmm.
BTech plus MTech. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, it is
Is
still there.
ITB doing
Yeah, it is still there.
Yeah.
still there, right? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was doing my BTech plus MTech, and that was exactly my placement, right? The
Oh,
first phase of placement was done. So I didn't get any during the first phase. I actually didn't try for any during the first phase. During the second phase, I got a job as a graphic designer. I do graphic designing also.
Hmm.
And so after I finished my last semester, I was going to join that company as a graphic designer. But I think this audition of Cirque du Soleil happened in March. At that time, I didn't know what Cirque du Soleil was. I just got a call from a friend saying that there is an audition, just show up. I just went there. I went through the audition. I had no idea what I was getting into at that time. And after 1 month, I got a mail. I got this mail in March actually. The audition happened in Feb. I got the mail in March that I got selected and I have to move to Las Vegas. And I didn't know, I didn't understand what was happening at that time. But I didn't know the magnitude of what happened at the time. But yeah, like uh, immediately people started sharing this news, and I was in newspapers. And yeah, this news became big, and slowly I was also taking it in. So it all happened like magic. Like it happened at the exact moment. I was there at the right time and the right place.
yeah. I mean, destiny has its own way of giving you opportunities and showing you things, right? So, how
Yeah,
difficult
yeah.
was it for you to leave your degree or leave whatever you had the job and go to perform in Vegas? Like, uh, if I imagine it right now, leaving my degree, so I'll try to think of some reasons not to leave it and just pursue anything that I want to do after that. So, how difficult was it for you to take that move, take that leap?
Honestly, at that point, I really did not care about my degree.
Oh,
Okay.
So it was not difficult. It was completely natural for me to take that choice. People
oh,
Okay.
were saying that you were brave to take this decision. For me, it was natural. Like
oh,
I it would have been like very unpleasant or very bad if I would have taken that job and like not if I didn't get this and I continued doing something else, like it would have been bad. But this was very natural choice for me. So like I didn't have any second thoughts. I got it, I took it. So it was
Mm,
that easy.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So now like you went to Vegas and like
Mhm.
you had a 1 year contract, right? But it extended to 3 years, I guess. Something like that.
Yeah. So it's basically a full-time job.
Hmm.
They for when people hire employees from outside US, initially they have to do it in a contract basis.
Hmm.
So that contract was just a formality,
Yeah.
but it was a full-time job.
Yeah.
Every year I just have to sign the contract.
Hmm.
So yeah, I extended till three. I worked there for 3 years and 5 months.
Hmm.
I was talking about the show. So they have Cirque du Soleil is a entertainment company, and they started as a circus in
Hmm.
Montreal,
Hmm.
and then they became big, and they have lots of shows across the world, and they have resident shows in Las Vegas
Hmm.
and touring shows across the world. So they have like seven. At that time, they had 8 shows, I guess, 7 to 8 shows in Las Vegas, and I was performing in the Beatles Love. That
Yeah.
is one of the shows in Las Vegas. So yeah, basically I had to perform 2 shows every day, every night.
Hmm.
Each show was 1.5 hours, and I had a solo act in that. So my song the song for which I had solo act was "Here Comes the Sun." So the show was complete
Okay.
Beatles theme, and yeah, my solo was I performed like what more than 1500. I soloed on that song for more than 1500 times.
Wow. You played the role of Krishna, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So my question was that for the entire period, 3 years and 5 months, I'm sure like you would have met a lot of artists, you would have
Mhm.
exchanged a lot of ideas, stories, and you know how that evolved you as a person, like the person who was in Bombay and the person
Mhm.
after that period, 3 years and 5 months. Like, what was your evolution in terms of maybe art or anything?
Okay. So one thing that happened after going to Las Vegas was I became an artist there. The artist in me was born there in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
I was not an artist when I was here. I was just a guy with a few moves that I could do
Hmm.
that would impress some people.
Hmm.
That's it. But I became a true artist when I went there. I performed on the stage. Like I understood theater. I understood getting into character, and it was really magical. So not just that, living an artist's life. So artist doesn't mean you just perform on the stage and you're back to regular life. So everyone there was an artist, and I had met so many artists, and a lot of artists live there in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
So everyone is performing all the time. Like the whole Las Vegas is a performance theater. Like people are performing on the streets, they're performing in the shows. Everywhere there are artists performing.
Hmm.
So they are basically living the life of artists. So that was one big change that came into me. I was always thinking about how to create, and even now I'm always thinking about how to create stuff. How like, my mind is always going through ideas about music or dance or art or design or anything. So that is one thing that I picked up from Las Vegas.
Hmm.
And one more thing was that is my work. When I'm working for something else, I don't call that work. If I'm doing something for money, I call that a job. But when I say work, I'm working towards my dream. If I'm composing a song, or if I'm making a dance video or something, I say I'm working. So that is my work. So that's how that is a big difference that had come into. People say work means, oh, work, I need to do work now, I need to work. So for me, work was this, like work became this, work became working for my dream.
Yeah. And like, how did IIT Bombay help you in that journey?
IIT Bombay, I would say, like firstly, uh, it is a great thing. Nothing would have happened if I didn't come to IIT
Hmm.
Bombay. Like maybe I would have just I imagine my life. I come from Hyderabad. If I imagine my life now uh, in Hyderabad, in an engineering college in Hyderabad, I would have just been like roaming around Hyderabad city on bike with my friends. That's it. But when I came to IIT, that's first of all, that's the first time I'm away from my parents. Secondly, there are so many things that you can do. There are so many things at your disposal. Like I feel like I still didn't utilize.
Yeah.
5 years is not enough to utilize the stuff that IIT has.
Yeah.
Just in 5 years, I could only tap into a little bit of IIT Bombay. So I became a graphic designer in IIT Bombay. That was the first time we got access to high speed internet. So
Hmm.
that was one big addition to my life. So that changed everything. Everything I learned was from YouTube, and everything I learned was by myself. And IIT was a starting point. The first time I learned something by myself was in IIT, and that gave me a strong belief that I can learn anything. I can do anything. If I want to do something, I know that I can learn. That all that came from IIT Bombay. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just wanted to add the support that IIT Bombay gave for me, like the support and love. That was the first step towards confidence. I was a very shy person,
Hmm.
and I used the platforms in IIT. Like I used to perform in every department's Valfi, like not just my department Valfi, and every department Valfi, every hostel Valfi. I just used to get an opportunity and just to kill my stage fright, I just used to go and perform everywhere, and I used to get love and support for that. Everyone used to appreciate me. So I slowly built my confidence in IIT Bombay.
So I just want to know that you mentioned Cirque du Soleil is a big company, like it's a big theater company, and it
Mhm.
has more than 400. It performs in more than 400 cities, right? So I wanted
Mhm.
to know ki, what goes behind making such performance. Like let's consider your performance, Beatles Love. So what
Mhm.
goes behind it, like artistically or by performance perspective or by other perspective? Like I want to know, really want to know that what goes behind such big performances.
So every show has its own purpose. Like
Hmm.
every show has its own story to tell, basically.
Hmm.
This is the show that I was performing at was the Beatles Love, and it's basically the story of Beatles. So that's where it starts. Every show. There is another show in Las Vegas, which is Michael Jackson one, MJ1.
Hmm.
Okay.
That is about Michael Jackson. So they are telling a story about Michael Jackson. So now it's the special part about the Cirque du Soleil is how they tell the story. And if you see the Beatles Love, they show the whole show is a poetic display of the Beatles uh, story, the major milestones that Beatles went through. For example, the part that I play is when Beatles band got separated at one point, and then George Harrison comes to India. Uh,
Hmm.
George Harrison came to India, and then he got enlightenment
Hmm.
from meeting people in India. And so I play that part where there's a person sitting who represents George Harrison, and I play Krishna. So uh, we just before my act, we show that Beatles uh,
Got separated.
just got separated. Yeah, like there's chaos basically.
Hmm.
They got into drugs and like lots of psychedelics, and then they went all over the place and they got separated. And when George Harrison comes to India, he gets this enlightenment and he goes back and he gets the band together. So I represent that point. So there are big. We also show the part where John Lennon sees his mother get into a car accident. So that scene was enacted in the show. So it's basically how well can we show the story unrealistically, that
Hmm.
too. And we have huge production, uh, a huge the best sound system in the world, and the best production values. And so that it just sometimes it's very hard to explain it also, because if you see, you will not believe what you're seeing. It's that crazy. So the production is so high that you'll not believe what you're seeing. I still remember the first time I watched the show. So they
Yeah.
made us watch the show, obviously, before performing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the first time when I watched it, I was like, damn, what is going on? I couldn't believe what was happening. So everything coming together, it's theater plus makeup,
Hmm.
costumes, lights. One more thing was, I don't know if the PAF still goes on, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just felt like that is exactly PAF on a very large scale.
Hmm.
Oh.
So there is props, there is set, there is carpentry, complete department of props that make everything in there. All the cars and the production. If they want to make a truck, they'll make it there, right there
Hmm.
in the show, in the back side of the show. So yeah, so it exactly felt like a path where the everything was made there. They put it there, they test it, and then we do the show there.
Yes. So, my next question comes is a bit different from all this. Let's
Mhm.
talk about dance now. The time when you started, uh, how difficult or easy was it back then compared to right now? Like right now, if anyone wants to start dancing or start learning, how difficult it is now or easy in comparison to the time that you started? And the follow-up question to that would be that how would you compare the Vegas culture, dance culture, to the Indian culture that exists right now?
Mhm. Okay, firstly, the first question, I would say it depends on what dance style you want to pursue.
Hmm.
Because dance styles like contemporary has been there. Dance
Yeah.
style like ballroom dance
Yeah.
styles have been there in India.
Yeah.
And if you take Indian classical, that has a complete different scene in India.
Mm-hmm.
And it is actually hard to get a good Indian classical, like any classical form. Like that is kind of rare now, unfortunately. Uh, and like I represent the street dance culture, which originated in US.
Yeah.
And my dance comes from the west coast of US. And then the hip hop, where the breaking,
Yeah.
where people do the stunts and stuff, that comes from the east coast of US.
Hmm.
All of these are happening right now in India. When I started, it was not happening much. Only breaking as a style. That was only one style that had started at the time and which was going on.
Hmm.
And like maybe when I started popping, there were like people, maybe you could count the number of poppers in the country on your hands. But
Hmm.
now it has increased. Like there's thousands of poppers in India. There are styles which, like you would say, sibling styles like popping and locking and backing. There's funks. They're all called funk styles.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
even if you consider hip hop, there is old school hip hop, and then there is breaking, and all of these are. Uh, India is kind of like a hub right now. So if you want to learn, there is so many. There are so many teachers. There are so many avenues that you can learn with respect to street dance. So learning aspect of it, yes, you have lots of resources in India, but career wise, it is still a struggle. I would say
Hmm.
you have to really fight. You have to create platforms for yourself. There are no platforms if you want to make a career. There is only one. You have to go to reality TV. That's the only way you can get famous, and even then, the longevity is not guaranteed. Even with that, so yeah, you have to figure out your own ways. But definitely, if you want to learn, there are so many. Okay. And what was the second question again?
About US culture versus Indian
Yeah,
culture.
Vegas.
Yeah,
So I
Vegas.
wouldn't say. First of all, Vegas is completely different from US, the
Hmm.
rest of the US.
Hmm.
So Vegas is like another world compared to US. So I'll talk about Vegas culture. So
Yeah.
one thing I saw the difference in Vegas culture and here was that my identity was my art there in
Hmm.
Vegas.
Hmm.
Here, my identity is my job and my salary.
Hmm.
That is the biggest difference I found. Like there, people used to. I make music. I dance. I paint, and I do all of this. And people across Vegas knew that. Like people used to
Hmm.
call me man with the moves, Sam the show, because I used to put up a show every time,
Yeah.
and that was my identity. People knew, like basically, people accepted that. They knew the vibe of the artist or the feel, like how an artist lives. They understand the life of an artist or how an artist thinks or feels. Here,
Hmm.
I don't find that. I have to go to places to get that here.
Hmm.
As a regular, like on a regular basis, I don't find that. I initially it was hard for me to adjust back here in India after I was living there, because I was going crazy because I had to adjust. I had to be like, okay, it's not like that here. I
Yeah.
need to go if I want that. If I it's almost like a high living with the
Hmm.
artist, and I was on that high for 4 years nonstop. And now it's like I'm not getting that high. I have to go to places or events. Like yesterday there
Hmm.
was an event, a battle, we call it battles of
Yeah.
drums. There was an event that happened in Bangalore. They keep happening. They So that events like that are like a high for me. That used to happen all the time in Vegas. So I try to go there. It becomes like another world when you go to these battles, hip hop battles and stuff. But when you come back, it's like a normal, uh, just regular life, which I still feel like I don't fit into. Like artists, I still feel artists in India uh, have a hard time fitting in.
Hmm.
They have this need to prove themselves or show to the society that art is something. I don't know what to say there, but like it's hard for people to accept artists. uh, and one difficult thing about artists is uh, people can separate themselves with other jobs. If you're an engineer or maybe a tech person, most cases you can separate yourself from that job.
Hmm.
I feel like for an artist, you become the artist. Like your
Hmm.
life is like you live like an artist. I don't think you can separate that. Okay, I've done my job. I live the normal life now. I don't think that happens. The art is always there. Like you are always an artist. Like you're sleeping when, at least for me, it is. And whoever the friends I see, like the artists I know, are like that. So that is one
Hmm.
difficult thing for artists uh, to be in India, because like people see you as a, they don't see you as a normal person. If like when you are like that, you have to find your own group for that.
Hmm.
Because you don't fit into the societal ways of doing things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Like
they imagine
for
you to
example,
do job, and they imagine you to earn and have some societal status, right?
yeah. Like for example, like when I came back to India, I used to wear all these funky clothes that I
Hmm.
got from Vegas, and that used to feel normal for me. And the moment I stepped out, all the eyes were towards me. Everyone was just looking at me, and that made me uncomfortable. And I stopped wearing funky clothes, and I slowly toned it down. And that's what happens in like happened in India. But I think India is changing for the good. Like India is opening up,
Hmm.
definitely.
So, one question which we wanted to ask later, but I guess it fits in right now, is that for an independent artist like you right now, how difficult it is to sustain economically in today's time?
Uh, I really have a hard time. I am really having a hard time because I'm not good with marketing myself, promoting myself, and this is
Hmm.
the case with a lot of artists.
Hmm.
And artists do feel like, oh, I am an artist, so I am entitled to be understood in the society, and then you have to respect my art. And then, unfortunately, and artists tend to blame the society for not accepting them
Yeah.
or not having the avenues. Oh, this Indian society doesn't have any opportunities for the artist, and so artists tend to blame. And now I did that too, but now I realize that instead of doing that, artists have to create their own avenues.
Hmm.
Firstly, you have the artists have to promote themselves and then create own avenues, and nobody knows that initially. When you start,
Hmm.
when you become an artist, when you start your journey as an artist, the first thing is you develop your skills. That is there, but you promote yourself. That should be a part of being an artist. If that is not
Hmm.
there, you're going to have a really, any artist, you're going to have a really hard time. Because I was not a person who would post stuff regularly
Hmm.
on Instagram.
Hmm.
Like when I was in Vegas, I posted like 5 or 6 posts in whole 4. I didn't have an Instagram account first of all when I was in
Hmm.
Vegas,
Hmm.
and on Facebook I posted like 5 to 6 posts. That's it. If I had an Instagram account at that time and I started, if I posted regularly and promoted myself, I would have been at a different place right now. And I knew my mistake, so
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm now starting to promote myself. And so if promotion, self promotion is a big thing that artists
Hmm.
struggle with.
Hmm.
And even then the competition also is there, and the lack of avenues, and the competition plus social media is like
Yeah.
crazy. Like you have to
Yeah.
be be on top of it. Like you cannot uh, what do you say, you cannot take a step back or even take a break
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You just have to constantly keep promoting yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, like if you do that, if you can place yourself in a way that you can regularly post and be positive, maintain a positive overall positive atmosphere for yourself, and figure out a way that you're feeling good about what you're posting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes when you're just posting, it becomes mechanical and you don't even know what. Most artists have a problem with that. Like, why am I posting? I don't even want to do this. I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah, exactly.
post everything. I don't want to post, and I don't want to show that I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But if you find something, the content, what you're posting, which is valuable to someone, and which is entertaining someone, and you are also liking, if you find that, I think then it
Mm-hmm.
can do good things for you, for as an artist. Like
Mm-hmm.
social media is a very powerful tool. Like that is the only way I feel an artist can make a good living out of it.
Yeah. But it also constantly creates a pressure in someone that you have to regularly post good content to stay relevant to the current society, or
Mm-hmm.
someone else will
Mm-hmm.
uh, go ahead of you, or
Yeah.
there's this entire branding that you have to create around yourself.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's why I said you have to find that perfect place
Yeah.
where you don't feel this, you don't feel that. Like you have to find that content, perfect content where you don't feel the pressure also, and you also feel good posting about it.
Mm,
But you also have to compromise your artistic pace also, right? Because of you have to constantly think of doing something. Like people take time, like some artists
Mhm.
take time to do their art. Some, like, because art is
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
something that has some boundaries or deadlines, right?
Yeah. 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 So for that, I would say like I follow this guy. I think you must know this guy Gary Vee.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Gary Vee.
Yeah, so like he says something about how you don't need to. First thing is repurposing the content. That
Mm,
is one thing he talks about. Second thing that he talked about was just what was the word? I forgot the word. Document. Document your
mm,
stuff and share
mm,
it instead of don't make the content. I am on Patreon, so even Patreon people say that don't make the content, just document it. Don't make content for your fans. Your fans only need to know. They don't need perfect content. They are already your fans.
mm,
So Instagram algorithm works on the engagement. Your fans are always want to engage with you. So
Yeah.
for them, you don't need to create perfect content every time. You can just share your story every day. That keeps them engaged, and that Instagram or other platforms uses that and promotes you more when your engagement is constantly high.
mm,
And then once in a while you can uh, post this whatever piece that you're working on. So that is something Gary Vee talks about. And even Patreon blogs that I've been reading, they also talk about that. So I create music videos, and like I try to uh, I cannot create content every time to keep them updating. So I can just update that, oh, this is what is going on. I take a snapshot, screenshot of what is going on and post it. So this is just an example of how you can document, and instead of creating. That way there is no pressure, and you can just keep posting regularly.
mm.
Okay, so I would like to continue to this. Like we were discussing, you create music videos. So
Mhm.
I came across this video of yours wherein you created music by different objects, right? By different sounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was just amused by it. I realized कि इतनी छोटी चीज़ों से भी हम म्यूजिक बना सकते हैं, राइट? लाइक वी डोंट नीड ऐसे लार्ज प्रोडक्शन हाउस या लार्ज इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स टू मेक म्यूजिक. ऐसे छोटे छोटे साउंड से भी वी कैन मेक म्यूजिक. So yeah, every artist has his own aesthetic to how to create art. So I would like to ask, what is music for you? Like, how do you perceive it? How do you want to present it to the people? And what is your process of perceiving music?
Okay, so the reason I started composing music was because of Telugu music. I come from Hyderabad, so my mother tongue
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Telugu.
Mm,
And when I was I used to buy at that time there were cassettes
Yeah.
when I was in school. Every movie when it released, I used to buy a cassette immediately. I knew the audio release date, and I used to go. There was a shop. There was a guy who used to sit at the corner of the street with a small shop, and like I would, they would. I think 20 rupees you used to get a cassette. I had I used to have cassette of every movie almost, and the songs used to emotionally like I used to connect emotionally to those songs,
Hmm.
the Telugu songs, almost all the Telugu movie songs. That was a starting point for me. Like that is where my roots for the music were. Like my fascination towards music was. Music was really close, and like whatever emotions I was feeling, there are. I realized there are some emotions that you cannot put words to.
Hmm.
There are some complex emotions, and I feel like with music you can actually connect to those emotions. Music, I almost feel like music is a friend whom you can explain these kind of emotions to without
Hmm.
using any words. Music is that friend, or maybe music is the language. I don't know. I'm trying to. I hope you're getting the point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the starting point, and I realized I can create one of the things that used to create this emotion was melodies,
Hmm.
and Tollywood songs had beautiful melodies.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And uh, I had this harmonica. I had a guitar also ever since my school days. I think sixth or seventh standard I had a guitar.
Hmm.
I bought a guitar. I used to just play these melodies and I used to like it. And in IIT, first time I overlapped this couple of layers of harmonica and a guitar.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, this sounds good. That was the first time I did it. And then when I went to Las Vegas, I had an accident.
Hmm.
I had a motorcycle accident. So I couldn't move for 3 months. Like I had like 10 ribs broken.
Okay.
I had
Oh.
spine injuries, like four fractures on my spine. So I couldn't move. And I had an iPad at the time. And I had GarageBand. I don't know if you know the app
Yeah.
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 GarageBand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is the next time. This was almost after 3 or 4 years of the first attempt.
Hmm.
After 3 4 years, I did that on GarageBand. I started composing stuff. Like I started adding layers, and I realized that because of constantly hearing music, or maybe I have a good ear, uh, I can create an overlap. Like if I listen to those, I compose like more than 60 tracks in those 3 months.
Hmm.
And if I listen to those tracks, I had no knowledge at that time. I get surprised. Like, how did I compose this? I had no knowledge. It was like it's almost like a canvas that you can paint. Okay, it's a canvas in time. I'm sure somebody has said this. Music is a canvas, empty canvas in time
Hmm.
that you can paint with sound. Okay. So after that, I started exploring, but that was a starting point. After I got out of the brace, I immediately bought a computer. I immediately bought Ableton software. I use that to compose. I immediately bought a mic. Uh, I bought a guitar, everything at once. It was almost like a calling. Like I have to do this now. So even dance happened like that. I never imagined I was going to do these things. It was almost like a calling to me, and okay, now I have to do this. So I just do it.
Perfect.
So, like, you learned dance on your own. You learned music on your own. So what's your learning process? Like, how do you get into it?
Uh, Again, when it comes to learning, uh, it feels kind of magical to me because it's almost like uh, I didn't do anything. Everything just happened. Okay,
Hmm.
it's like some unknown entities guiding me. I never
Yeah.
thought I should go and do this. I never use. I feel like I never use my brain to okay go through this tutorial, next this. Nobody was there to guide me, and I
Hmm.
somehow ended up going through this path unknowingly. Like I almost knew where to go. That could be my intelligence, or that could be some unknown. I don't know why, but like my learning curve was very quick also. Like the way I learned dance in 1 year, and I was already performing like crazy. Like, I was zero when I saw the first dance video, and after 1 year I performed and I went viral. The same thing happened with music, where uh, I started, and within few months I was able to freestyle on guitar like crazy. And that used to kind of baffle me, like, shit, how am I doing this? Sometimes I used to get shocked, like, oh, this is happening. Oh my god, this is happening. So that used to motivate me again to just stay there, just be there. That was my process. That was my mantra. uh, One of my mantra was just be there, things will happen. Just show up and things will happen, just be there. So in Vegas, I surrounded myself with instruments. At work, I had a ukulele and a guitar at work. I always used to carry harmonicas and flutes with me. So anytime I get free, I just play instrument. So I'm working here, I have 3 guitars here right now to my side. So I have like multiple instruments around me all the time. So if I'm constantly there, some things will happen automatically, like that. And eventually an upgrade will happen automatically. So things almost happen automatically. So if you keep doing, you will learn by yourself. So it's almost like I didn't watch a lot of tutorial videos, or I didn't go through any courses. It's exploring and being there, exploring an instrument. Even now, when on the guitar, I did not practice the conventional way, where you learn the chords and then you learn the songs. So I do my own stuff on the guitar. I do some. That's how you see that video came out, like the video that you were talking about. So those are my own explorations of how, like, I just go crazy with things, instruments. And I can, so there is one more idea that I had after that video, that I can just make music with guitar noises. Like there are noises that I can record with just the guitar, and then just the whole track is that. So people have done it. It's not a new idea. Even that is not a new idea. People have done that. It's called Foley. So yeah. So this all happens with experimentation and just being there. That's my. I want to dedicate as much time as I can for it. Just being there. In dancing terms, you call it labbing. You stay in the lab when you're dancing for a long time, and you call it labbing. Stay in the lab. Be in the lab as much as you can.
Yeah. So yesterday we were grooving to Do It Baby, and we didn't see the video. Later in the night we watched the video, and what we saw is there was some kind of visual arts going on. There was music and you were dancing to it as well. So how do you find connection between these three: visual arts, dance, and music? Like, well, these three are different forms of expression completely, but
Yes,
they are
yes.
connected in some way. But how do you perceive those connections?
I'm actually still trying to find it. Because I'll tell you, like, to be honest, I feel like a different person when I'm doing music. I feel like a different person when I'm doing dance, and when I'm designing or painting, that's like a different thing. So, and I do feel this energy associated with all three, and those energies are different for me. Like with dancing, the energy is very straightforward and feels like it's a pleasant energy. With dancing, it always makes me happy. It always makes me chill, or it always takes me to a positive place. But with music and painting, it's not that. It becomes a little complex sometimes. With music especially, music sometimes had given me nightmares, and sometimes doesn't let me sleep. And sometimes it feels like I had instances where it felt like the instruments are like hovering over me and not letting me sleep. And so it's still different, but as I said, the process of it, the overall process is the same, where I feel like I'm just a tool that the art is using.
Mm.
This is the overall thing that I feel with everything, with dance, with with music, and with painting also. Even with painting, I don't know how to paint. I go
Mm.
there, I just put paints, I do this, and it happens. And then I can never repaint. I cannot redo what I did. I can never do that. If you ask me to do my painting again, I can't do it because I don't know how
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
So like that is the thing. Like going into the zone, stay in the lab.
Stay in the lab.
What are your future plans right now? What are you doing right now and your future plans?
Okay, so as I said, I have a lot of songs that I already composed.
Hmm.
I have some close to 200 songs that
Okay.
I have everything composed. So am I have a Patreon account and I want to keep making music videos and keep releasing them. That is
Hmm.
one thing that I'm doing. And second thing is I want to my long term goal is I want to get into Telugu film industry first. I
Hmm.
want to compose for films. I recently composed for a short film. It's not a short film, it's a 1 hour independent film. So I
Hmm.
compose music for that. And I composed one more, I composed for 2 short movies. So I'm most gonna get more films. So that is there. I
Yeah.
slowly want to get into Telugu film industry and hopefully maybe into Bollywood also,
Hmm.
if that goes well. So that is one thing. And if I get into Telugu film industry through music, I wanna uh, go into choreography as well, dance
Yeah. Yeah.
choreography. That is also happening actually. I almost got an opportunity recently uh, to choreograph a film, but somehow that didn't work out. But yeah, things are definitely going in
Hmm.
that direction.
Hmm.
I want to be associated with film, and so I shoot and edit. So that video, the lighting and everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I only did like I shot the video. So I'm really interested in films. So I want to be associated with films, like the
Hmm.
video, the music, the lighting, even the lighting. So anything, like I want to end up with the film industry doing something. So that's, I see it. I feel like I'm taking steps towards it.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Who all are your inspirations right now? Yeah, who do you follow or suggest other artists, other people to follow?
Okay, my inspirations have been changing like all the time. I don't have inspirations for long duration, because after a point I feel like I'm talking to myself, like the self talk
Hmm.
when you talk
Mm-hmm.
to yourself. But now I have these micro inspirations which improves that self talk, which helps what I need to talk to myself. Like initially, I told you Mr. Wiggles, the guy I saw that
Mm-hmm.
video, that guy was a huge inspiration for me. Like I used to have posters of him, and then that guy was like a god to me.
Hmm.
When like I like people in the dance popping community that were gods at one point, but then I slowly move on. I keep moving on from people to people. And recently, I don't know if you know this guy, David Goggins.
No.
Mm,
Like he's a runner and he's an athlete. uh, he
Okay.
has this record of maximum pull-ups in one day.
Hmm.
Like he has some 4,000 plus pull-ups in one day. Like nobody could beat that, and he's the only person to finish some army, navy, and also some other air force training. Everything.
Hmm.
Nobody could in the world could finish it. Only he finished it. So I came across his videos, and like recently, that is what is going on. I'm getting inspired by his talks. So I keep changing, like depending on my situation, what I need.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel like I need a harder push. So this guy is helping
mm-hmm.
me.
And I mean, are you planning to learn on some new art ahead, like in the future?
I yeah. I want to learn vocals, Carnatic
Oh,
music.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is one thing that I'm definitely going to do it. And I also want to get into acting.
Hmm.
That is because of Vegas also. Because when I was dancing, I played these two characters, Krishna, which I already told you, but I was also doing other group dances, like
Hmm.
5 more songs that I did, which were group songs.
Mhm.
And I had to get into these characters for this. I had to get into Krishna. I had to get into this other person. So initially, I was just doing the moves, choreography. But later, there came a point where I actually went into those characters, and I became those characters,
Hmm.
and I felt that magic of transforming. So initially, that was very exciting for me. That oh, I can become something else. And later, when I kept doing that, I realized that that is not something else. That is just me. I'm discovering I am capable of this. There are more versions of me that are unexplored. I feel like with acting, I can explore. I can know more of me. So that's why I want to get into acting at some point. So for that, I need to figure out a way where I can earn money first and then get a career in music first. So that's my plan, kind of get a career in music first, and then slowly add on these things. Uh,
Okay.
Add on acting, get into acting. So that's why film industry covers everything
Yeah, it's like a
right now.
great
So that's why I want to
combination
Yeah.
of
get into
everything.
film industry.
So yeah, I guess that's it. Uh, so thank you very much. We had a great talk. A
Yeah,
very
yeah.
humble
Thank you.
talk.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I hope like all the best with your podcast.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you.
Where are
having
you
And
us.
going to share it, by the way? On you have a channel on YouTube?
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
share it on YouTube, Insta, Facebook, everywhere.
Okay, okay, yeah.
We'll
Yeah, I'll
send
make
you
sure
the
I'll
links. Yeah.
follow. Yeah, 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 sure. Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for
Also,
having me
all
again.
the best to you for your future career. We hope you make
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
big.
Thank you.
Grammy le aunga.